So, hello everyone, welcome back to our channel Tech, your one-stop destination to become a data analytics pro step by step. So, today's episode number 10 in our data analytics series is all about one of the most powerful tools in SQL that most beginners overlook, that is Aliases. So, you might have seen those short letters like E, T1, queries, inquiries, and wonder why they are used and all, right? Well, those are just aliases, and once you start using them correctly, trust me, your SQL queries will go from messy to master level clean. So stay tuned till the end because will be coming with entire depth of a data analytics series. And in this video, I'll be explaining everything you have to know for aliases and how to use them and what are the benefits of using them. So also, if you have not subscribed to our channel, do subscribe to Transforce Tech for in-depth data analytics series and stay tuned for the other updates. So this is the our first topic, that is understanding SQL Aliases. So what is basically SQL Aliases? So let's start with the basics. What even is an alias? In SQL, an alias is a temporary name that you can give to a table or column in your query. It's basically a temporary name. You can just understand this as a temporary name. For example, you might have used somewhere, right? Maybe you will have such a big long name at your school, and home you might be called with short name, right? The same, we use a short and cleaner format to use for a longer name, either of column or table. We use for both as well. So we'll understand both the aliases, how we use in table, for column how we use in the coming kind of coming time. In some time, 1 or 2 minutes you'll learn. So think of it like yeah, I just told you, right? It's a nickname. As you can, for example, someone nickname will be like, like Golu or something like that. So it's like that, right? So their full name will be bigger and it might look messy, like longer, and also they will like to be called with shorter name. So, and also it saves time, it saves energy, and to look it clean, especially in SQL. Let's leave the name and all concept. Let's focus more on SQL. So it's basically simplify your SQL life. How your life will be simplified when you will be called by sorter, it won't be look that long. It won't take that much energy. The same way SQL life will make a simplified by use of aliases. This much we can understand. We'll understand with example in the further coming. It also help in maintaining and updating SQL code. As you can see that, of course, how it will do that, we'll understand with the help of example in the coming slides. So let's write one example, but before that, let's understand the benefits of uh, aliases. Okay, yeah, sorry. So what are the benefits of using aliases? It improves readability, it enhance clarity, avoiding ambiguities, and there are so many other benefits as well. But before going that, once let's understand why to use alias. Why alias? Why to use alias? So basically, why we will use alias? It's not just people will tell, okay, we are just using for fun, but it aren't just for fun. They offer some serious benefits as well. Like these are the benefits, as you can see over here, right? Improved readability, enhanced clarity, sorted names, enhanced clarity, as I told, sorted names, avoiding ambiguity, and so many other easier maintenance as well. Because if you make sure queries, easier to update or debug later. If you write a long name or long table name or long column name, it will be tougher to debug, or it might leads to ambiguity if two things are having kind of similar names. So that's the reason we use aliases. So how it improves readability, simplifies complex queries for better understanding. You can understand it better way. For example, it will long table or column names will be there, but we can use a sort alias and keep your query TD. It will be clean and tidy. So it also enhances clarity, especially useful when you are working with multiple table in a join. If you are using join in a table to join two to three tables, then you need alias because it enhances clarity in that, and also avoid ambiguity. As you can see, right? Clarity, I gave example, right? Ambiguity, how it will avoid if two tables will have a common with the same name, right? Have a column, for example, both column has courses. In a student, two table are there, a student and course, both will have course ID. course ID column, right? So this will lead to ambiguity, right? So to avoid all such things, we'll use this alias. For example, we can just give it some other name, right? It will also help to specify which one you mean. For example, if you want to actually refer to this particular table wala course id, then you can just refer with the help of, for example, table 1 is t1, then t1 dot course id will help you understand that you are talking about table 1, right? Got it? So this is how aliases are useful. It improves readability because it will be cleaner and looks pretty TD and all. Plus, it sorted names. It will make it sort more manageable names. It will be like less and sort, and it will be then save your time and space and all that kind of thing. But it also enhances clarity. Clarity in the sense of what? Clarity in the sense of like when you're working with multiple tables in a join, so you should be clear and context that which one you are using, right? For example, I gave one example, right? So T1 what table norm T1 for table 1, it means you are referring for this course ID from this table, not for this table. So it helps us in being clear what we are actually doing. And it's also avoid ambiguity because two things will have same name, so it will leads to ambiguity. So that also one benefits of using aliases. I hope we are clear till here. Then now let's move to the next slide. So, creating table aliases, it simplifies queries, right? It makes complex SQL statement easier to read, helps in understanding the purpose of table, creating. It's all again telling that if you create table aliases, what are the benefits of creating table aliases? It's actually the uh, yeah, it's actually the table name, right? For example, you'll use create table, right? So again, if you are selecting, so select t1 dot let's say a student or something, anything you take, any column name you can take, t1 dot age. So here t1 from table t1, right? Here table alias is t1. Let's say that name of table is, let's say, something a student. So from student t1, so we are just doing that, right? We are trying to give a short name to a longer name. What it does, see, make complex SQL question easier to read. It will be easy to read, right? Helps in understanding the purpose of table. You will get to know what is the purpose of the table, what you are trying to get from the table. So it makes your life easier. It makes the query looks clean and beautiful, and it also helps you in avoiding any confusions or ambiguity, and also gives you more clarity on the code and the query, so that it will be easily understandable to anyone who is looking after your queries. So this is all about the benefits and creating the table. And as I told, how we can create it, we can just give a name as t1, and we can use as from student t1. You don't have to use as also, sometimes it's not required. But if you're using column alias, we will use as. In that also we can use without as also. But yeah, we'll be understanding column alias in some time in the next slide maybe. Yeah. Yes, so here you can see some of the best practices for aliases. So if it will keep it simple, what and all best practices we should follow for alias. So first is where you should descriptive name. Don't use anything like choose alias that clearly describe the data they represent. You should think and select, like use descriptive name only. Don't like gives any number or something like that, right? For example, let's say we are using a student table, so we can use alias as S1 or S2, right? It should sound as descriptive, right? It should not be anything like okay, one, two, something. Can't use like that, right? So, and also try to keep it simple. Avoid overly complex or lengthy aliases. Like for example, you are creating a table named as employee, then don't give the alias as emplo, right? Just give it as E or emp, right? It sounds easier and cleaner, right? So keep it simple. And consistent naming. Maintain consistency in alias usage throughout the query for clarity. Consistency you should maintain. It means what? For example, you are using the alias, then don't try to different. Don't try to use the different alias. For example, you are using somewhere you're using somewhere you're using emp. It should not be like that. You should be consistent with what you have used in the previously, right? So it should sound like that. For example, I'll give you one example of alias, but example of alias in SQL. Yeah, so you can see there are so many examples of alias, which are you can see over here. Some are column alias example, first name as first name, and this is table and this is multiple aliases. So what you can see that this is a column alias select. Let's say the column name is this first name. This is the column name, first name as first name. This is the new name given to table as this will be shown in output. The reason is that why it's used first name. Okay, I'm really sorry, it will be a gap here to look it cleaner, right? And here you can give apostrophe so that it will be counted as string because it's not number and it should not be separated. So that's the reason we are using this apostrophe. From employee, table name is employee table. So from employee we are selecting this column name as this, means this column name will be displayed as this name and all the data will be displayed under that. So this is how we use column alias. And again table alias, select e dot first name. Here the table name is employee as e, so you can write only employee e also, not an issue again. So this is how we use aliases, that common examples of aliases. I think we have understood the example, but again I will try to give you some other examples of alias. So let's understand both the examples one by one. So first of all, it's a column alias example. So let's take one example of column alias. Okay. So let's say we are taking the similar kind of example. Select last name. Let's take this time. Let's take last name. Right. Select last name as last last name, right? Here we have used as to, and this is the alias and this is the actual column, right? And this is the column which will be displayed to the in your when you run your query. This is the column which you will see and the data under that. And from which table we are taking it, let's say the column name is employee table. Sorry, the table name is employee. From employee table we are fetching this data, this column we are fetching, and we are giving the name as this. Got it? Okay, okay. So this is all, like this is one example of alias, column alias example. I mean, this is a column alias example. So, and let's come to the table alias now. So table alias, let's take the similar kind of table. Let's say we are taking select, uh, let's say employee table only. Select e dot last name, d dot department name. Let's say department name. Table name is employee. From employee as, then we are taking alias. This is the alias, this is the alias of table as e we are taking, because we are using two tables. We are joining this table with other table, let's say department table, because we are using the alias d for that department table, and this alias e is for this employee table. Join, what should we write? Join department table, right? Departments as, this is again as, and this is the alias d, right? Now how can we join? We can take keys, right? If you guys have well versed with DBMS, you might be aware about primary key, foreign key, right? So there we will use this. Let's say e dot department ID is equal to d dot department ID. So it will be joined on the keys, on the primary key. So this is how it works. This is the one example of table alias, right? How we are using table aliases, especially in the join operation we use mostly, but sometimes for self join also we use, sometimes generally also we use, normally also we can use. It's not like we have to use in join only, but yeah, generally we use when we are joining one or two columns or more than two columns also. So this was all about that, and now we are coming to the common mistakes that we should avoid when writing aliases. So neglecting aliases, I mean, failing to use alias in complex query can lead to confusion. So we should not fail to use alias in complex query. We should definitely use aliases in complex query because it will lead to a lot of confusions, right? If there are multiple tables and multiple columns, so and maybe two tables can have the same column name, right? Both the table can have same column, so it will lead to ambiguity and confusions, right? There'll be no clarity on that. So to avoid all such things we use aliases. And of course, don't overuse as well as they have written over here. So even you should avoid overusing as well, and inconsistent use different alias for the same table or column can confuse reader. Don't use different aliases for the same column. One column, as I told that, for example, employee table, we used ES alias, right? The same you should not, you should try to be consistent with the same alias. Don't use different alias for the same table, right? So this was all about that, yeah, and that's what we understood today, that it will enhance and all that. How Alias will do. Alias in make SQL query easier to read and understood. Using Alias, it will simplify the process of making SQL code, because you don't have to write long queries, and it will be understandable. Plus, it will be easy from all point of view. I mean, you can just easily access it. It will look clean, and also you can be clear, and it will also let you avoid ambiguity in the queries. So there are lots of benefits, and that we understood today. And we also understood other two types of aliases that we use. One is column alias, and one is table alias, right? So how we use both, we understood with example everything. And yeah, this was all about that. And here's a big takeaway from the lessons. We can say that aliases are not just optional. It looks like optional, but they are not optional actually, because they're essential if you want to write clean, scalable, and professional SQL codes. They also help you, keep your queries readable, avoid confusion in joins, like just we understood, right? If you won't keep that, then the two table might have the same column, right? So you might get confused. So it also helps in avoiding confusions. It also make your reports more presentable and impress your interviewer or manager within clean logic. Because if you write clean code, of course your manager or the interviewer might get impressed. So that's what. So go ahead and refactor your old queries with aliases, and see the differences for yourself. And if you found this video helpful, don't forget to smash the like button, comment understood if SQL Aliases now make sense to you, and subscribe to Forge Tech for more daily content. I can't promise, but yeah, we are coming with 2 to 3 videos per week. So yeah, if you want to learn data analytics in depth for free, so this is the best course. We will also be covering doing some in hands-on query, especially on Lead Code, Data Lemur, or other platforms. So, and also check our one job channel, which is Forge Onwards. You can subscribe to that channel as well, because we are posting 3 jobs daily. And this was episode 10th in our data analytics series. And next up, we will be diving into SQL data types like a pro. We'll be covering the data types in SQL, all kind of data, whatever is there, like varchar. We'll be discussing in the next session, of course. Not to worry about that. Yeah, this was all about that, and that's it. Until then, keep querying, keep learning, and as always, for the notes. See you in the next video.